بدر وارث جان منزل من وایلا شای شب و جان الله شیرین الله ریز گل دندان مسلمانان مسلم با دل من وایلا شای شب و جان الله شیرین الله ریز گل دندان.
When I arrived in Kabul, I had never used a camera before, was short on time, and knew what most people knew about Afghanistan. That is, not very much. I did know about 3 places that were talked about a lot in the news: the university, the zoo, and the stadium. As a student, I figured the best place to start was what was most comfortable for me. Coming from my comfortable corner of the Hudson, I found it difficult putting myself in the shoes of my peers. Many of them probably just recently having gained the opportunity to learn about topics other than theology and warfare. However, some things have changed for the better. Women can once again attend classes, and there was this great level of activity at the place. Students and faculty who I talked with told me that the university was on to a new start. According to the National Geographic special, Kabul Zoo Rescue, the zoo was also on to a new start. Between the civil wars and the Taliban, the zoo had fallen into severe neglect. A handful of dedicated zookeepers kept this place running as best they could. It was eerie to see how 7 months down the road, the zoo rescue had done little to change things here. On the other hand, in the old pen of Marjan, the one-eyed lion of Kabul who passed away in 2002, there's a new lion and lioness. What's more, just recently they have begun sharing the pen with their newly born cub. You can't see it because of my inept handling of the camera, but trust me, it's there. As I spent more time in Kabul, I began to realize that there's a duality to the city and the Afghans who have suffered through the war. Like with the lion cub, there is what you can see and there is what you cannot see, but it's still there. Many of the people I spoke with who lived in the city through the war expressed as much. One Kabul resident put it best when he said, "Along with engineers, the entire country needs psychiatrists." Kabul Stadium serves as a sad testimony to that remark. It's hard to express what it was like to walk the stadium grounds. When I went to the stadium, people had come to watch the boxing tryouts for the national team. During the time of the Taliban's rule, from 1996 to 2001, there were probably few places more terrifying than these grounds. Here, the Taliban Ministry for Suppression of Vice and the Promotion of Virtue held public executions.
إلهي بأفراد صاحب كمال بسالم بزيد بحضرة بلال.
Mara ne mama? Mama mara. Mara ne? Oye bana. Mara ne?
Boş.
I found that despite the deep wounds inflicted upon this country and its people, many have hopes to build a better future. Nowhere did that sentiment come across more strongly than with the deminers that I met. In a country where life-endangering problems can be as close as a step or two away from your door, that's a good thing. Afghanistan was, and remains, the most mined country in the world. By some estimates, since 1979, 640,000 mines have been laid all across the country.
First of all, welcome again to dear visitor to my work site. My name is Abdulaziz, responsible of team number 2, belong to Danish demining group. We work in this minefield about 29 days ago. Totally we found 207 anti-personnel mine, and totally we cleared this minefield 3,125 square meter during the 28 work days.
This is a priority 1 area. It means that urgently we have to clear this for these people, for the safety of these people. I think they have planted the mines like rain. When the rain is coming from the sky, just it is coming everywhere. So they have put the mines everywhere. They spread it everywhere. Even I think they didn't have the time to put soil on that and to hide it. There have been 10 accidents in this minefield or on this hill. 8 human accidents with the local people, and 2 to 4 animal accidents, because people, they are bringing their sheep, their cows for these grasses and bushes. So we had 2 to 4 animal accidents and 8 human accidents so far.
And it's working tools like bayonet, small shovel, big shovel, prodder, filler, and 2 cutter. White side is mean clear area, and red side is mean unclear area. And to this mark show a place of signal. That is a center place of signal. It is around the signal.
This is the metal mine detector we are using, SIA.
So yeah.
So you can see now the problem of the Afghan people, that how much problem they have. They have a lot of problem of whom, for example, their houses were destroyed during the civil war, and now you see that just close next to the minefield, they came 20 days ago here and they rebuilt their house. Now you see one family, they are living just in one room. So because of that, this area and the importance of this minefield was very big. Because of that, we started our clearance and we answered to the request of the people. Okay, we are for this. We are here to save the life. We are here to serve the people. That's our duty, to just serve our people. And we came here and started the clearance of this hill. Himself, he was suffered, you know. But he is still lucky that his leg is not cut.
Yes.
So he is very lucky.
He was lucky. One of the things that you can't help but notice in Kabul is the number of amputees. I learned that for many amputees, this International Red Cross clinic has been instrumental in changing their lives. It was established in 1988 and combines a clinic to treat wounds and rehabilitate people with a factory that produces prosthetics, wheelchairs, and crutches. Chiefly staffed by Afghans, both men and women, 90% of the staff are amputees and ex-patients themselves.
Mamura devlet kalıbı burada amca kalıbı gidiyor. Boşa bandos kadar kalıblar mekinin modela poyşa mi gidiyor. Şarkı poyşas modela zira mi gidiyor. Bazen bir orada bu şarkı bir zaman çoğu tarafa zira basta mekinin gaz kurmayın. Varsa gaz kurtayın, az gaz keşida beş şekil mamo yakşak mekinin. Şarkı da bozmayla bir keşan mekinin. Sarıcı kor mekinin. جایی که بخواد جای فشار باشن فرضی کار میکنیم تا قسمی که فای مریض است به شکل برای مریض و چیز فشار باشن این بتونه گشت وقتی که خلاص شد در بخش دیگه میره مکمل میشه اینجا سالفاکت گرفته میشه بعد از سالفاکتش پروکوبین به شکل طرفی پروکوبین است این پوش میشه وقتی که پوش شد بعد از پوش برای مریض پوشانده میشه مریض بهتر این دید میگیرن برای دور جلسه بود اگه دیده مشکل چیز نداشته باشن باید رو در پوش میکنن پوش رو در بخش فنیشی که داریم یا پوش میکنن یک شکل منظم ورزش میکنن پوش ها بعدا مریض بازم میپوشه اگه جان مشکل نداشته باشه رو سر میکنن.
Visiting the clinic was jarring. Here you had all these people picking up the pieces of their lives. It was like the small microcosm of Afghanistan, an entire country picking up pieces of itself. The visit to the clinic made me realize that in many ways the reconstruction of Afghan society is best seen in little events like these. Or in a gathering of Sufis on a night like this. Afghanistan was once the center of a vibrant cultural renaissance in the Islamic world. For hundreds of years, it has been a bastion for Sufism. Now with the Taliban gone, Qawwals are once again free to openly praise God in song and dance. Sitting there that night, I felt the distance these men had from this world and its troubles. Walking out into the darkness, I knew that it was time to leave Kabul. Afghanistan is a rural country. If you want to know how most Afghans live, you have to leave the city, and so I did, heading for the heart of the country, towards the Hazarajat. Bamiyan, center of the Hazarajat and homeland of the Hazars, a people originally descended from the Mongols. The Taliban showed the Shia Hazars no mercy during their time in power, wiping out entire villages. The Taliban also destroyed the giant Buddhas of Bamiyan with the assistance of Al-Qaeda demolition experts. Both statues were among Asia's greatest archaeological treasures. Standing by the edges of Lake Bandiamir, I found it hard to believe anyone could want to fight in a land as stunning as this, but they did.
از فقری از ناحیه بند امیر قریه جانکشان حرف از این قرار بود که ساز پرسان کرده بود از ما در رابطه همین شهادت پدرم. سال 1379 بود، زمستان ماه جدی. پدرم کار داشت، در کارنگ رفته بود پشت سودا. دیگه در اون زمان نیروهای طالبان که آمده بودن محاصره شده بود، کل مردم زمستان بود، برف بود، مردم زن و بچه و عیال خود از برف کشیدن نتونسته بودن. دیگه کلا اینا غافلگیر شدن، دستگیر شدن و تقریبا در حدود 350 نفر از مردم بیگناه یک کارنگ کلا بگیر رفته بودن و رکبار دستی جمعی شده بودن. شخصا از خانواده از ما 12 نفر هستن، از جمله پدرم و مامایم و پسر خاله و پسر ماماهایم. کلا تقریبا در حدود 6-7 قریه دور بر مرکز یک کولنگ است که از جمله بین مشکین و در حدود 57 نفر شهید دارن. دیگه کچخانه 50 نفر شهید دارن، آخوندان است 12 نفر شهید دارن، گنبزی است 14 نفر شهید دارن، دیگه کوچکک هستن هم 16 نفر شهید دارن. دور بر مرکز کلا اینا غافلگیر شده بودن. تقریبا در حدود 300-350 نفر به شهادت رسیدن. سال 1379 بود، زمستان 1379 ماه جدی.
Some time later, I found myself in the province of Badakhshan, in the northeast of the country, just in time for the poppy harvest. I had no idea the poppy flower was so beautiful, nor did I know that it was so plentiful in this part of the country. It's said that over 80% of the world's heroin supply originates in Afghanistan.
Wow. Seeds. This can probably generate an hectare worth of poppy, and I can feel the wetness where the actual opium is, but it basically contains, the juice is sucked up when they slice it. These are the slice marks here, and then what happens is that the opium itself is drawn up through the stem, and it emits from the cuts slices. Then after 24 hours, the farmer goes and collects it through a scraper, and he has a metal little pan that he collects in it. Were used previously by the Afghans to sprinkle over the bread, and it was also exported legally to India, and it was a prized export commodity. But unfortunately, with deprivation and lawlessness and lack of central control, this is being used to grow poppy seed.
شما این رو میفهمند که برای خود مردم افغانستان هم نقص میرسه. این خود اکثریت به خارج میره، نه؟
خارج میره، افغانستان چیز نمیشه سر، نه؟ اما مردم کارم نکارم تریاک هم کوکنا رستیم، خوب ما مردم عملی نیستیم، نه؟
درست.
با ما مردم پول ضرورت سر.
بله.
دلار افغان ضرورت. با ما مردم اون گندم چی نمیشد. یک مردکار فعلا 500 روپیه سر. 500 پس مقابل 500 سر گندم 20000 روپیه.
فهمیدم.
20000 روی چی نمیشه سر. امروز ماشین جور کنه سر، با همش ماشین میبره. ماشین.
بله فهمیدم.
حالا از اون بیاد پولیس $100. $100 سر 100 سر گندم میشه.
صحیح. آره شما رو که پیسه که میده به دلار میده یا به افغانی میده؟ به دلار میده شما رو پیسه
نه
یک پاوش
دیگه به دلار
آه
میده.
دلار سه
دلار میده.
دلار بله
خب این کی میده؟ این خود از افغان ما شماست یا کدام از خارج میان؟
خارج میاد
خب از خارج میان.
از خارج میاد خارج آمده خریدار میکنه
خب
آه سه
از این نفر تاجیکستان هستن یا از روسیه هستن؟ از کجا هستن؟
تاجیکستان هم هست سه از چیز هم هست سه و از نیست بس هم خندار و
خب از این
جلابات از طرف های علمان و نوجاز
خب
ما مردم شخصا هیچ باید ضرورت ندارم سب با کلی ما مردم از او آموخته نیستیم
درست.
با حساب عمله
بله دیگه ما دیدیم اینجا بچه‌های خود بوده دیگه یک قسم دل ما سوخت مگر
نه.
که این بچه‌ها چی با چی نشوند.
نه اینا سب ضرورت نداره صرف ما مردم چوبش سب علاوه میکنم خلاص ما مردم خود اساسات داره ما مردم تا گیره در جون ما نمیمونم خیلی تیکه دیگر رسید کار کلا میپوشه میره کار میکنه از کار که بدرش سلام میکنه یک قدر اساسات داره
خدا کنه
این فرضاً این مخن داشتم سبین چی برده بودم فیض‌آباد همه یک $100 است یک $100 است
اینی $100 است؟
$100
باز نخریدم؟
خیلی سودا کردم بسیار شد سودا کردم بسیار بودن این را سودا نکردم خب از خود 100 سر گندم میشه یک نیم ساعت 200 سر گندم میشه
آله اینمی که $100 شد نه؟
همه
این چقدر گندم شما باید که بخورن که $100 پیدا کنم؟
اونی هم گندم $500 نمیشه هم بسته گندم
All of this land, all the wheat land that you see here is only for $500.
هم 500 نمیشه
و این چقدر میشه؟ اینی که
این تخمینا 2 سر میشه 3 سر میشه
خب 3 سر شما چند دلار میشه؟
این 2 سر من 32 پا و 32 پا پس 8 پا چیز $4,000 همین گرفت $4,000
این 500 است و این 4,000
این 4,000
خب خیلی بسیار تفاوت داره
بسیار تفاوت داره از هم نمیشد ما مردم 3 سال تا بعد از امید هم دولت مینامتد ما مردم از بین میرفتیم از گشنگی سعی ما مردم گشنه ماندیم ما مردم هیچ چاره نکرد میره پوشیدیم سعی خود دولت کمک نمیکنه ملل متحد کمک نمیکنه سرکای ما مردم خراب است چشمای ما مردم خراب است ما مردم ما بین دو درست دست جای نمیته خب ما مردم ضرورت خودمون پیش است دولت کار نمیکنه با ما مردم
مخصوص برای شما ضرر نرسه
نه با ما خط نزدید
ابیدان خبان خیلی از ما شما خدا بیاده خدا کنه که یک زندگی شما از یک راه دیگه پیش بره خب کوشش میکنم برای شما کدوم کمک کرده بتونم
Faizabad is the capital of Badakhshan, a city newly made wealthy by the expanding opium industry. It turned out that the day I arrived, a constitutional national mobile team had also just shown up. These teams were taking a draft of the constitution to each of Afghanistan's provinces, making sure that regional leaders and notables could look at it and make their own suggestions. The most amazing part of the meeting for me was watching a woman discuss Afghanistan's new constitution with Badakhshi community leaders. In a province where wood is extremely scarce, Faizabad has an abundance of it. Most of it is fuel for heroin laboratories. Instead of exporting raw opium gum for processing elsewhere, Afghans in the drug industry are beginning to process it inside the country. This is beginning to take a lethal toll on communities. One evening, a Badakchi notable from Kale Panja explained to me how serious the problem had become.
کشتی ازی را از قبلی که رواج نبوده باز در این اواخرات تقریبا یک 10 سال پیشتر رواج شد حتی طور مثال همین قلعه پنجه در حدود 67 خانوار است در این 67 خانوار 7 خانوار ازی اگر از تریاق مبرا بود که مطاق نبوده متباقی 60 خانه ازی کامل بسته تریاقی حتی طفل نوزاد که در گواره بود همین دود ازی را در دهن ازو استعمال میکردن این تو خانه هایی بود که دور از محلی چیزی که ضبط بود مال بود فرش خانه بود این را کاملا هم به این تریاق دادن از کار جسمی باز ماندن از فاق و عدد باز ماندن هیچ چیزی نماند زمین خود از سودا کنن بالآخره در آخر گپ رسید سر دور از نیست اولاد نازن این تو خانواری بود که دختر خود به قرض تریاق داد باز در این اواخرات حساب آقا خان به این منطقه باز اونا هم از این که به حساب رهبر ماستن پیر ماستن ما از جمله مریضای آقا خان از کجای مذهب اسماعیلی باز اونا هم توصیه کردن شما باید که از این جیدن خودداری کنین از کشت ازی از استعمال ازی با قاچاقبر هم کار نباشین هر نوع دخانیاتی که هست شما از این باید خودداری
I think the most difficult fight for the future of Afghanistan will be figuring out how to deal with the opium industry. In some ways, I'm sure it has made life wonderful for some of these kids, but I'm also sure that in the end, if left alone, it will also cause them great harm. Just when I thought that the opium industry had seemingly conquered Badakhshan, a strange thing happened as I went further north. The poppy fields disappeared.
Hava şamal çanga yandagir kolum nanga Allah'ım parni yolda buyuşun havanım sanga Mütülüm dinayi gaya badan rayga Bizam bir naci sıksağa havuzunu labiya
Though they could greatly benefit from poppy cultivation, the Waki, the ethnic group who make the Wakhan corridor their home, have chosen to reject it. At the same time, though, they are a poor people who rely on the good fortune of the seasons for their survival. If the harvest goes bad, they sometimes find themselves eating grass to survive.
They cook the leaves and then ate it.
ایرا دادی پختم میکنیم ایرا آوشا خشک میکنیم پس ایرا میچکیم پس دادی باز ایرا
اول پخته میکنیم
باز ایرا قاق میکنیم آوشا خشک میکنیم باز ایرا قای آو کمت ما روغن باشه رو هرچی پخته میکنیم
They cook it and then just
چهار رقم اینه ایرا بنام ما مردم
And this one also.
yeah.
What's it called? This one?
شرشم yes. ایره شما چی میگین؟
ایرا ما مردم شلیک
شلیک
ایرا شلیک میگم نه با قبول سیو شلیک ایرا ایرا
local name this. This is شلیک.
یک چیز به نام خخ میگن او حال دور رو انا قبلا شده اون دور جو همیا دمایدگی میخریمش بعد همی بیخوش میکنیم ای گشنگی را اگه او خوراکی چطور
تشکر پدر زنده باشید شما
تشکر با شما که شما مشکلات مردم در نظر
خدا مهربان است که گشته دیگه دوستای ما با دست پر خدا شما از نزدیک ببیند اینا زیاد پروگرام خوبش دارن پروگرامی که به درد بخور است و
همشیره به اینجا وطن سخت باشی چیز سر زده و ای مردم غریب پرسان میکند یک جان تشکر.
Largely ignored by the rest of the country, their one tenuous connection to a larger Afghan identity is this abandoned and run-down summer house built by the last ruling monarch, Zahir Shah. Looking back, there were moments when I felt like a tourist, and there were moments when I felt like I was coming close to a part of my own background. In the end, though, this journey was about the people I met. Every one of them had a single request, that I listen.